Get in the blanket. It's cold. Her. Might have to find a new spot to do these. The Gospel of John, chapter 21. I think I said we were starting in verse 19, but it's verse 18. Most assuredly I say to you, when you were younger, you girded yourself and walked where you wished. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and another will gird you and carry you where you do not wish. This he spoke, signifying by what death he would glorify God. And when he had spoken this, he said to him, follow me. Brr. So, interesting is, well, we have history. History tells us that Benaiah, come here, little alligator. I wonder which one of my kids is coming out. History tells us that Peter was imprisoned in Rome, and supposedly he got out, and as he was leaving the city, he had a vision of Christ, and he asked him, and Christ was heading into the city, and he said, where were you going? And Christ says, I'm going to die. And Peter said, then I'll go with you. And he turned around and went back. Like that was his time to go. His wife, I believe, was crucified. I know she was executed not long before Peter. Peter witnessed that. But when they went to crucify Peter, he felt unworthy to be executed in the same way as his Lord. And so he makes the request to be crucified upside down there in Rome. Rawr. Meet alligator. Rawr. No smiles, huh? He's like, oh no, didn't know what I signed on for. Okay, I'll put the alligator down. Alligators are dangerous. So, that is the idea, is that Peter was crucified like Jesus. And so when we look at this text, which is cool because, we can read it and see where Jesus made the comments to him. That when you're old, you will stretch out your hands, and another will gird you and carry you where you do not wish. And that's the idea, is that his arms are outstretched in crucifixion, and he's being carried and lifted and placed upon a cross. And so he's speaking of the manner in which Peter will die. And it's fascinating that we'll find Peter in a few chapters. We might not head there. I don't intend to do Acts. But in the book of Acts, we see Peter in jail. And he's supposed to be getting executed like the next day, and yet he's asleep and he's at peace. And some believe part of this is that Jesus told him, when you are old, then this will happen. And Peter's probably thinking, I'm not old. He probably was barely in his 40s at that point, if that. And so it's funny to watch him at peace simply because of a single promise of God, that when you're old, this is how you're going to die. So Peter knew he'd die old. And with that, he could go confident, knowing that there was nothing anyone could do to him because they couldn't kill him because, well, he wasn't old yet. I wish we could rest so confidently on God's promises. I wish we could rest so confidently on the Word of God to where we could be in prison and, on death row and yet have peace because, well, the Word of God says, and so often we face so many other much smaller things and we act like the Word of God has failed. So, there we see a little bit about Peter and his inn. And it's interesting, it says in verse 20, it says, then Peter, turning around, saw the disciple whom Jesus loved following, who also had leaned on his breast at supper and said, Lord, who is the one who betrays you? Peter, seeing him, said to Jesus, but Lord, what about this man? Jesus said to him, if I will that he remain till I come, what is that to you? You follow me. And I think that's a huge thing, is Jesus tells Peter the means of his death. So then Peter wants to know about this other guy. Well, what about the other disciple? What about John? And Peter says, or Jesus says, well, what does it matter? You follow me. And there's a real good message in that for all of us, is that we read all through Proverbs and Ecclesiastes and other places about how the people, we question God when we see the wicked prosper, when we see the righteous suffer, when we see good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people. And we wonder, well, why? And at the end of the day, Jesus would have the same message for you. What does it matter? You follow me. And that's all he wants from us, is regardless of circumstance, regardless of outside situations that are happening to other people in other places and other ways, Jesus would look at one of us and say, you follow me. What does it matter what happens at your work? What does it matter what your brother is doing? What does it matter what's going on over here? I'm simply asking you to follow me. It's a simple message, but it's a reminder we all need that Jesus wants us individually to follow him, regardless of what's going on, good news or bad, regardless of what's going on at church, regardless of what's going on in our homes, regardless of the way our spouse is behaving. You follow me. And so it's a message that I think we all just need to take to heart, that no matter what else, I will follow you. The cross before me, the world behind me. No turning back. Jonathan Edwards said, Resolution 1, I've decided to follow Jesus. And Resolution 2, if no one else will, I still will. That's the idea. Is it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing, you follow Jesus. It doesn't matter if it seems like the church or the country or whatever is going to hell in a handbasket. You follow me, Jesus says. But Lord, what about this man? Jesus said to him, if I will that he remain till I come, what is that to you? What does it matter if I choose to elect that person to some great thing or to some menial thing? What does it matter to you? You follow me. That leaves us just a little bit more to cover tomorrow in the Gospel of John. What day is today? Today's Friday. We can finish Saturday with the very end of the Gospel of John. And then what book next? Time will tell. I still haven't made a decision. So we'll figure out where we're going to be going next with this whole thing. But hey, God bless you guys. And today, no matter what happens, what you face, what you run into, or what you see good or bad happening amongst your brothers and sisters, you follow him. It's very simple. And it doesn't matter upon anyone else you know. You follow him. God bless you guys and have a great day.